Yesterday, who was joining? Oh. Do we need to leave? Testing? We don't. Okay, we don't need to leave, right? Yesterday we have introduction on the JavaScript. Mostly the JavaScript syntax is similar to Java, but we do have some difference you have to be aware of. Today we will have an interesting lecture on execution context. Hopefully we can finish on closure. If we cannot finish, then we will move to next Monday. Okay. Now let's start. A fundamental aspect of function-oriented programming in JavaScript is the use of closures to store state information associated with a function when the function is passed to other objects. Closure. You already see the closure in Java, right? When you do lambda, you see a closure which has a free variable. Probably forget. Okay. Closures provide a protective wrapper for state information associated with a function. An analogy in consciousness is the supportive wrapper that transcendental consciousness provides to our own consciousness. At this level of consciousness, we are connected to the home of all the laws of nature. This lecture covers lots of things. Like a global environment, we will take a look at. We will take a look at execution context. Lexical environment is part of execution context. We will see closure. We will also see timer, which is the asynchronous part of the JavaScript. We will take a look at one by one, okay? First one is the global objects. There are 6 global objects, which is available for you to use in browser, okay? Here it's talking about browser because when we execute the code using Node, they don't have them. Every JavaScript can refer to the global, like document history, location, navigator, screen, window. We'll see one by one, okay? Window, there is an entire browser window, the top level object in the DOM. This one I'm talking about. Suppose I have a and here, if I have a script here, and suppose I have a console.log window. Did I define in my code? I didn't define window, this variable, right? But when we execute the code in the browser, you will see here, I have window object, okay? And that is the global object window provided by you. Your window doesn't exist in a node, okay? Node doesn't have. And all global code and the variables become part of the window object. Here has one difference. Suppose here I define, first take a look at our code, our window. Take a look at it, okay? I scroll very fast, a little bit fast, okay? Did you see something called, let's scroll down. Too much, okay? It's a huge object. Oh my God. But we definitely didn't see something like this way, okay? Suppose here I define var username from CS472, okay? CS472. Browser will do a little bit of refactoring. You may see this one already have this one, okay? But basically, Windows definitely don't have this variable, right? But when we execute the code again, you will see this object being, it should be here already. Last time when I tested, it's already here. It's not here, then it's here, okay. Because sometime, like 1 or 2 years ago when I tested, it was in the first one also. But today I cannot see it. Okay, what it is. Can I see here? Can I see here? Let me see that one. Okay, I have first one. Wait me for a second. Let me scroll and see if I can find it. What, too much? Too much to scroll. Guys, do you see here? The thing is, even though this variable is defined after print, but the browser will do some refactoring. He kind of like from this window, you can still get it. Another proof you can do like this way. I'll comment this one. And see here. That means this variable is actually put in where? Window. You know what I mean? But it's different from when we use let and var. Let you are no, doesn't have. Only var we have to do, and the const you want. Because let and const put it in a special place. Okay. Var is gonna be put in the global. And in the window, you also have other properties like a document history, location, and name, which are history, document, location, and others. Only actually window is the global. This screen navigator location, document history actually are property in the window. Let me show you here. Okay. Show one more time. We can do is go here. You can see here should have a document. This is a document. And you will see was a location. This is a location, and also same for history and a navigator. Those, okay. And another proof you can say document equal document. Okay. It's gonna be true, which means those global objects actually are properties of a window object, because you can see here, I can directly use the document object. See console.log. There's a document which is also global object. Okay. This is a document for us, which reference document will refer to the entire HTML page we are rendering here. Okay, and inside the window, you're gonna have several methods, like alert. The first day I already show you. Okay, confirm and others. Those are not used very often now. And for set interval, set timeout, clear interval, clear timeout, we will introduce next Monday. And the open close is sometimes when you go to a website and you click one button, it will open another pop-up, another window, right? And mostly the browser will give you alert. Do you allow the pop-ups? That is, use the window.open. If you will open a URL there, you put your URL, it will pop up. And for security reason, the browser will give you security warning. Do you allow or not? And others, when you need, we will have time to introduce in the future, okay? But today we just go very simple. And this is one example. Suppose you want to open a thing, you can use, let's try this one since it's here. Let's do another one here. I have a pop. Hi, it's me, okay. Okay, then what we're gonna do is we suppose we have a button. No need to understand the code I wrote it so far, okay? Because we're gonna introduce the details after we were here, okay? Here I just show you when we click one button, we will open one, okay? A simple demo. Let me put another script here. We can put a script tag here too. You'll see document get element by ID. I'll give ID here btn, okay? Then this one on click. Here is where you use anonymous function most of the time. For all the events here, mostly we are use anonymous function because this function will only be used once. Window.open. Then we give URL pop.html. And besides, you can give the what's thing other URL target feature, which is kind of like this is the window. I guess is this name here. Okay, but it shouldn't be okay. This one is how wide and how tall, then the window gonna open. I'll just show test. Let's try, see if it works. Okay. Can I see here? That's how it goes to. Okay. Sorry, this one is I'm wrong. Okay, this one is not the one. Okay, because when we open, it's gonna become a title. Here something. Okay, I didn't look at the API. Some string here, but definitely this one kind of like the how wide, how tall the screen gonna open. Okay. Not if you need, just use it. I never use it. Now document. We will go details on this lecture. Okay. Here, just make sure a document is a JavaScript representation of a current web page and the elements inside that, which means suppose you want to reach this button or you want to reach other paragraph, div, all the things, you can through the document to reach them. And you can change the style, you can do some actions as we want, okay? And we will go details after midterm exam. Here, I don't want to introduce. Location object, the URL of current web page. What's gonna be? Suppose here, you can directly from here, see here. Like here, we have a location object. And from location, you can have lots of things. You can get the host, like this one. It's gonna become part of URL, this part. Okay, you can get href, which is entire URL. Okay, and you can get an origin. You can get a port number, which is a port number here. You can get a protocol, HTTP, HTTPS, or others. If you need to have a location, use the location. Okay. Navigator. Normally, we don't trust about the navigator because the navigator is very not specific. It's very general. Let me show you. Navigator is about information about the web browser you are using. But let's take a look at. Okay. Suppose probably you want to try to see. Okay, which is the web browser we are using. Can I see here? I've called the name. I'm using Chrome, right? And give you Mozilla. And the upper name is give us thing. Netscape, which is the first version of the browser. And then Mozilla kind of like bought it or something. Okay, so you take a look at history. I don't know. Okay, no details. Apple version, can I see here? Apple version, this is the Windows. And this is the Apple, which is the Safari. Okay, and this is the Chrome. This is one, and this is still have another Safari. So the browser, you cannot trust it because it's very general. You can say user agent, can I see? Suppose I want to say user agent, you have Mozilla, you have Apple, you have Chrome, you have Safari. And the same if we go to where? Go to the IE, no, Microsoft Edge. What's the difference between Edge and IE? Let me make it a bit larger. Which called navigator. Can I see app code, app name, and app version? Exactly same. Very general. You gonna what I mean? Like others use agent and this vendor Google. The reason why you see Google incorporation on Microsoft Edge is because I forgot which version. Okay, Microsoft Edge previously is using its own JavaScript engine called Chakata or something. But since probably 2 years ago, it started using the Chromium, which is V8. The same JavaScript engine is the same as the Chrome's. That's why you see the Google the thing here. So this navigator is not very helpful because it's very general. Okay. You can try to see in Firefox by yourself later. Screen, this object is information about client display screen. If you want to get how tall, how wide is the current browser, you can through the screen this object, just using screen data, available height, some others, okay? History object, the list of sites or browser has visited in the window. You can do is suppose you want to see how many the history length, which is how many sites, how many pages the user already clicked. You can through the length, and you can also use the JavaScript code to control the user to go back and go forward. Okay, one example, we can do like this one. Suppose I log in. Wait a minute for a second. Okay, I click here, I click here, I click here, click here, click, go to overview, right? Now you can do is support, you can write some JavaScript code. Here I just do a fake one, okay? Click over, last time I clicked is site info, right? Oh, doesn't allow me to, then no, I cannot do it, okay? I think it will automatically go. So if not, we can do a demo, okay? So what should we do? href, which is pop.html. Okay, and pop. Okay, then on the pop, we can have a button here. Okay, button, go back. Okay, and here I will have a ID here, back. Okay, so we can just show one demo. Okay, it's not very important here. Document dot get element by ID, because I want to click this button, and it's like you are clicking in browser the back button. Okay, on click, and here we had the anonymous function, and we use history dot back. Let's try. We will open on the global, this one. I click pop. Can you see here? This one has a back enabled, right? When I click this one, go back, it's gonna go back, right? The other way, we click this one. Can I see here? And this is how you use JavaScript history to control, go back, go forward. You got me? You can also use go. Go here will give positive value or negative value. -1 means back, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is gonna be forward. And here we only have a very simple, just have one back, right? So we just use -1, okay? That's a good question. Let me finish this one, then I'll answer. Okay, so go back. You can also go back. So for the difference between this back and go back, only always one step, which means go to previous one. But a go, if you are go -2, it's gonna be 2. Okay, so if you want to jump multiple, use the go, and if you want only back one, back, or if you want forward one, forward one. Back is like you click this one once. Go depends the numbers. You kind of like click multiple times. Okay. If you're interested, take a look at. Okay. JavaScript has a set of global DOM objects. Okay, accessible to every web page. The objects we covered so far only available in window. It's not available inside the node. Okay, node is for server side, and we will go details on this day. Okay. Every JavaScript object run inside the global window object. We will use it. That's why we introduce first. The window object has many global functions such as alert, timer. We will see timer next week, Monday. At the level of unified field, an import anywhere is an import everywhere. Okay, now let's go to our today's most important part of entire JavaScript. No, actually, if you don't understand, it's fine. Okay. It won't hurt unless you have some strange errors. Okay. It depends on the code you wrote. Okay. What is execution context? Execution context is created when JavaScript code is executed. Suppose you have a function executed, and behind the thing, the node or the V8 is going to create execution context. And as we know, the stack, right? Every time when we execute a function, we are going to have a stack, right? No matter it's in Java or JavaScript, all the function gonna be pushed into a stack to execute, right? So where are those execution contexts? Those are being pushed into something called execution context stack. There are two types of execution context. First is global. What is global? When we run the code inside the browser, all the code gonna be loaded into the browser of JavaScript engine first, and that's gonna become first one is always a global one, global execution context, and a global execution context only has one. And JavaScript is because JavaScript is single thread. It's different from Java. You have multiple threads, single thread. Okay, only one execution context. And it's a default one, load first when we execute the code in browser or in the node is similar, okay? And it will be used to store window document histories. That's why we can use them. We will see why inside the function we can still use window, because we have the scope chain. It will refer to the global, and the global has window. That's why we have it, okay? We will see. And another type of execution context is called functional. What is a functional execution context? When it is created is whenever we execute a function, then JavaScript engine will create another functional execution context for us. Whenever you have a function being called, it's gonna have one, okay? It's gonna have one. Later on, we will see another different case, like a for loop. If it also will have execution context, but that one will based on the code we wrote, okay? We will see later. And each function definitely gonna have its own execution context, no window or other global objects. Okay, this one is talking about, suppose I have ec.html. This one, take a look at it here. Suppose here I have a script, okay? And here I have a function foo. I will call foo. All of them gonna be in the global, right? Global, and that's why here when we execute this piece of code, we already show this one gonna have a window object, right? Because it's global. But now when I execute a function, I console log a window, we still can get the window. We still can get a window, right? Window object. And the slides say no window or other object is in functional execution context, right? When we execute the function, this function will create another execution context to us. And they say don't have window, but we can refer window here. How can we do that? We will see later, because we have a scope chain to reach to the global one. Okay, we'll see later. And it do have arguments object. Do you remember arguments? Argument object only exists in function. Okay, only exists in function. Now, I will come back. What I'm gonna do is I will introduce some of them, and I will give you example. Then I'll come back to explain again, because so far it's difficult. Okay, so now just now we referred to the type of execution context, and now when JavaScript engine gonna create the execution context for us, and how JavaScript engine create execution context for us. In the JavaScript engine, execute our code. Okay. For JavaScript engine execute our code, JavaScript engine will always do two step. The first step is called the creation phase. Yesterday, you heard another word called hoisting. Do you remember? And hoisting is another terminology for creation phase. So when JavaScript code execute our, when JavaScript engine execute our code, JavaScript engine will do two steps. The first step is gonna be called the creation phase. Creation phase has another name called the hoisting. What's gonna do in the creation phase? all the function is called, but the execution has not started. We will show you in a minute, okay? Which means every statement inside the function body is not being executed, okay? But the function itself is being created, okay? And the JavaScript engine kind of like compile your code, but does not execute any code, which means suppose you have console log. In the creation phase, it will not execute it, okay? But it will compile code. What's gonna do? When JavaScript engine compile the code but doesn't execute, what's gonna do? It will record variable declaration functions, and the only variable declared with var, not let and const. I will explain later, okay? For second stage is after creation phase done. Now second one is called execution phase. In this phase, JavaScript engine will start execution our code, either global or either from the function, okay? Scan through the function, execute every statement. Probably you have updated variable object and values, other things. And also, let and const it's going to be executed inside the execution phase, okay? You're gonna have let and const. If you don't understand, don't worry. We will have demos. I will explain, okay? First, let me explain a little bit of theory, okay, part, okay? So here we talk about the creation execution. Now let's take a look at in creation phase. It says what? JavaScript engine will compile our code, record the variable declaration function, right? So in creation phase, the main thing for JavaScript engine do is to create lexical environment, okay? Normally, execution context is divided into 3 areas. One is called the lexical environment, is to keep track of variables, function names, and associated values. It do have another one called the variable environment, but these are very similar, so we are just use one called the lexical environment, okay? There's another one, which is called the this binding. This binding, today we cannot show you, we will introduce here, which is what this keyword refer to. You got me? Because this keyword in JavaScript is very complicated. So in the execution context, you're gonna have 2 things. First is called a lexical environment. Second one is called this binding, okay? And if we use, normally it's gonna use an object to represent that. It's gonna be look like this way. You're gonna have execution context, execution environment, and inside is an object. In the object, we're gonna have a lexical environment. It's gonna become another object, and you have this binding gonna refer to window or something else. We will draw for you later. Okay, we'll draw for you later. Here, this one you can ignore it because it's too detailed for environment record, which means here, lexical environment also categorized in 2 parts. One is called the environment record, which will record the declaration of variables, functions. Okay, here, see here, I have a, I have bar, which are functions. It will also have another one called the outer. Outer is for the scope chain, okay? Link to parent lexical environment. Used when cannot find a property in current one, then it will go to your parent. And the global one is gonna be have a none because global is the most outer environment. Okay, now let's do a hands-on. Let's do a hands-on of the execution context. Okay. Let me add something. Let me add one more thing. Okay, I forgot to add this one. Okay. Let me make it more complicated. Okay. Wow, something. Wow, a string. Okay, equals another string. Number 1 equals 90. Okay. Okay, this is our code. Now I will explain to you how JavaScript execute this piece of code. Okay, we'll follow what we have covered so far. Listen carefully. I'm going to do a bigger thing, okay? So first, when JavaScript see your piece of code and you run it in browser, right? JavaScript going to create a what thing? This entire thing we call what thing? Execution context stack. You got me? Execution context stack. Stack first thing last out, right? And by default, all the code it must have what thing? One global execution context. This one is default one, okay? Default and only one because single thread, okay? And when the JavaScript engine trying to create a global execution context, it will also through two phases, no matter functional or global. Two phases. Do you remember hoisting and execution? Hoisting also has another name called the creation phase, okay? It has another name called the hoisting. Some professors use hoisting, some professors use creation phase. So I give two here, okay? And what's gonna happen in the creation phase? The creation phase, it will do a thing. Record the variable declaration functions, but only variable declared with var. Understand? So now take a look at. We will create a lexical environment here, okay? It's an object, okay? And it do have something called this binding. By this binding today, we do not go details. For today's all the code, this binding gonna become the object window, which is global, okay? Then for the remaining, I'm going to skip this binding, okay? We will go details next week. And in the lexical environment, it says it's gonna record all the variable declaration, right? And all the function declaration. So now the first thing is, okay, you ask you guys a question, then you do one by one, okay? First question is, do we have any function declaration? Oh, how about I change one? I change one, then we can see the difference, okay? Let me change one, how about? You got me, I change one, okay? Then we can see the difference between them, okay? Otherwise, it's gonna be different, okay? I'll do this one, okay? Const A equals, I'll change this one. Yeah. I think, yes. I have videos, okay? I have extra videos. If you want, I'll gather you to where, okay? Okay, now, let me start again. Do we have any function declared? Sorry. Do we have any function declaration? This declaration. Yeah. Okay. And if yes, okay, put in lexical environment. Okay. Which one is function declaration? Function B, right? And this entire function, what does it mean? Put it in lexical environment. You can think what's thing. In the lexical environment, I have function B here. And this is gonna be point to some location in the heap, which address refer to the entire function declaration. Okay, because function is an object in JavaScript. And here I just had the function, this one, represent the function entire, okay? It should be stored in the heap and here point to the address, okay? But here just function. And now, second one. Let me add one more. Var string, okay, equals hi. The second one. Do we have any variable declared with var? Do we have any? Yes. This one, right? I just added, okay. Just
But the one inside the function.
Function, we don't care because anything inside a function, we already reserved here. We are not executing the function. We care about it. Here, that's a very great question, okay? Here, we are talking about a global, okay? Global, we don't go through anything in the function because all those pieces of code are gonna be executed is when we call the function, right? If we don't call the function, where the code being executed? No. So in the global, we don't care about anything in the function body. Okay, you got me? Okay, we only care about function declaration. Or okay, do you have any variable declared with var? Yes. If it's yes, okay, let me scroll down a little bit. Okay. Remember here I'm only on creation phase. Okay. If yes, put in lexical environment and what's the value? Value is undefined. Let me show you. Okay. What's the name? str is undefined. Okay. And we can do a demo here. We can have a view. Let me make this part to be smaller. Okay. Okay. Then we can put a str. Okay. Put a str. Let me copy the paste here. I'll show you the actual content. And second question, second one. Third one, sorry, third one. Do we have any variable declared with let and const? Okay. If do we have any? This is one, right? This is another one, right? So if yes, that's a difference between let's difference between var. Put in TDZ. This is not an official name. This is a name. This one is called a temporal data zone. And this name is used by JavaScript community to refer where let and const the variables are being located. Okay, so let and const are not inside the str, not inside the lexical environment. So we will put it here. TDZ, this one called TDZ. We will call what's the A and X, okay? And that's it for global, okay? That's it for global. Then,
sorry, is value not written here? Is value? Value of A, because in
this part
environment, this value is function. So in temporary data.
No, we don't in the creation phase we don't do anything for const. Okay, that's a good question, but let me show you the reason. Okay, we will go a simple one. Okay, test. Take a look at carefully. Okay, let's see. Take a look at let I equals 10. I execute in Chrome or execute in Node. This one should be same. But now let me change to be in the Node. It changed to be in the Chrome. Here, take a look at it here. Okay, I will execute this piece of code. You already know the result, right? You're gonna have error. Cannot access I before initialization. Okay, and now I change to be var. You will see undefined. What's the reason? Let me give, suppose JavaScript trying to execute this piece of code, okay? I will add, let me add another called let j equals 90. Then I will have a console log I and a console dot log j here. You got me? So I will draw this one, and we will use our theory. We just covered, so just covered. So JavaScript execute, it will create a global execution context, right? Global execution context. Okay, start from what's the creation phase, right? Creation phase, we have lexical environment, and we skip about this binding, okay? And then he asked a question: do I have any function declaration? No, skip. Do I have any variable declared with var? Yes. Put in lexical environment with initial value undefined. Do I have any variable declared with latent const? Yes. Put in TDZ. Now you will see the difference. Okay, we have J here, right? Now it do have something called outer. Outer is for the scope chain. We will explain later. We'll continue, okay? But here we are in global. Global outer is a none, which means it's the outermost the scope already. Doesn't have any more, okay? So now our creation phase done. We are going to what's the execution phase, okay? In the execution phase, JavaScript still start from a first line, okay? If it's a global first line. So now JavaScript gonna be executed this line. Console.log I. Now, where to find I? Find everything in your lexical environment. In my lexical environment, do I have I? Yeah, I have one. This is my I, okay? This is my, and what's the value? Undefined. That's why we see undefined. You got it? And now, do I have a J in my lexical environment? No. And he see, oh, J is in TDZ. Whenever you are trying to access something in the TDZ, you're going to have the error. That's the, do you remember the error we see? We have this error, okay? You got it? And that's the reason that that's the difference between I and J. Now, let me, we have to continue, okay? Now, I'll explain, we do like this one, okay? I, console log J. Because I cannot, if I put it here, all the statements can be stopped, right? So I remove this line, but you know, if we access it's gonna have error, okay? And suppose we execute this piece of code, okay? We will draw one more, okay? Okay, now still same thing, okay? Then we will go back, don't worry. We'll explain a little bit and use some simple one, okay? Global execution context start from creation phase, always two-step, okay? Creation phase or hoisting. And ask question, do I have any function declaration? No, we have one variable declared with var called what's the undefined, okay? And we do have outer here, which is a none, okay? And we have a variable declared with let, which is gonna be put in TDZ. Whenever you are, oh yes, put in TDZ, then here gonna become J, right? And now our creation phase is done, we go to execution phase. Execution phase always in the global always start with the first line. First line console log. Suppose here is our output. Okay, console. Okay, console log I. Do I have I? Yes, I have. What's the value? Undefined. So I have undefined here. Now I have to execute this one, right? What this one do? I assign 10 to I. So I will do this step. Change this one to be a 10. And I have a let J equal 90, right? What this one do? Move this one from TDZ and add J equals 90 here. You got me? And then when I console log I, do I have I? Yes. What's the value? 10. You will see 10. Now console log J, do I have J? Yes. What's the value? 90. And 90. That's how the JavaScript execute this let and J, let and const are same, okay? var, and you will see here, see undefined 10 and 9. Do you understand the difference? This one, okay, very good. Now let's go back, okay? Oh, okay, go ahead.
execution context.
Yes.
Because there is, J is assigned number, you switch it that the execution context or
Oh,
I don't understand that.
This line to come in the execution phase, we have to execute this line, right? Execute this line. So what are this line doing? This line gonna move the J from TDZ and add J equal 19 in lexical environment. You got it? Okay. Okay, good. We will have another example. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's a great question. Okay. Guys, I ask you guys a question. Okay. Who can answer? If I just do like this way, what's gonna happen? Here, you J and the value is undefined. And here you will see console log J here is undefined. Okay. But you won't get the error, which is cannot access J before initialization, just have value undefined. Okay. Very good. Now let's go back to the difficult one. Okay. So we are going to where we STR, right? And we finished, right? The creation phase. You understand me? Creation phase, we missing one, which is outer. Is none, right? Outer is none, right? So now we will go to next phase. Next phase is what's then? Execution phase, okay. And execution phase always start with the first line, okay? First line, what are this line doing? Assign a function to the A variable. Just now we are assigned 19 to A, right? Assign function exactly same, okay? So what's gonna happen? We move this A from TDZ and add what's that? A, not undefined function. What's the value of A? Function. So it's a function. Just now, the value just now is 19, right? So we give 19. If a value is a function, we give function. If value is array, give array. If value is object, give object. You got me? Okay. Whatever the right side is, just give it to here, okay? And when we execute in the execution phase, this is a function declaration, right? We skip, okay? Because we already did the in creation, we skip. Then we do this line. This line const x equals 20. We what thing? We remove it from here, okay? Then we do x equals 20 add in lexical environment, understand? And then here, we console.log str. Actually, log is a method in console object. It should draw a functional execution connect. We just go simple. We just print, okay? We don't draw it. We actually gonna draw, okay? We just say in the output, let's put our output here, okay? This is our output, okay? So now we are going to execute this line. Execute this line, gonna do what? Do I go to a lexical environment? Do I have str? Yes. And what's the value? Undefined. If you cannot find it, then you're gonna have error through. If you can find it, whatever the value put it here, just put it in the console. Undefined. You got me? Okay. And now I do var str equals high. This one you have to execute. This one doing is assign high to str. Got it? Got it? So here, this one gonna become high. Okay. And if you print again, then you're gonna become high. Okay. Then let's take a look at this line. This line is to do what? Function call, right? The first thing you have to do is what? The first thing is inside my lexical environment, do I have a B? Yes. And what's the type of B? Function. Only function can call. If B is a number, then you're gonna have errors. It's not a function. You got me? But now B is a function, so we can call it. You got it? So whenever we have a function, we have to draw another functional execution context, and all other things exactly same. Creation phase or called the hoisting, okay? We still do lexical environment. Okay, now you repeat the case, but function we do have a difference. Okay, first we ask our question. Now you only care about what? You only care about everything inside the function. Okay, so now take a look at in my function declaration, function B. Do I have any function declaration? No, so do nothing. Next question, do I have any variable declared with a var? Yes, then we put number 1, right? Which is undefined here. Okay. Do I have any variable declared with a letter const? Yes, then we put int dz. What's the one? X, okay? And here has other 2 things we have to be careful in functional execution context. First thing is this one. Okay, and for all the parameters in the function, we treat them as local variables, and those variables are added in creation phase, which means in creation phase, you are going to have another argument 1. What's the value? What? 50, okay. So here, I have 50 here. Okay, 50 will assign to argument 1, right? So 50. And we do have another one. Argument 2, did I give a value to argument 2? No, so what's the value? Undefined. So if here I have console log argument 2, you get a 50 undefined, okay? And then it also do have another thing which is different from global. For all the function execution context, we have what? Do you remember this one? This is an object, okay? This object will carry will carry 2 things. First is the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 refer to the parameters you pass. Okay, so it's gonna have argument, and 0 is what? 50. Okay. Do I have more? No. It also have another property called the length. Is 1. If you do not understand, we pause here, okay? We pause here. Let me give a simple example. Let's say courses start length. Whenever I write this piece of code, we probably think these courses is an array, right? But you remember yesterday we talked about the arguments is array-like object, and we still can use this for loop, right? But when I print it out, it's actually an object, right? CS472. 477 是 I just do 3, okay. What's the thing? Can I see here? Is this an array? No, it's an object, but we can still use the loop. The only thing you need to have is what? Is this the numbers, the key is numbers, because we use the console log I, this I gonna be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just ask a question. I want to get a CS472. I can use a syntax. Do you remember the syntax? Do you remember this one? Do you remember this one? I can get it, right? I can get a CS472, right? And this is the courses I is doing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this course length is referred to this length. So this we will call this one, this course is called array-like object. And that is that argument look like this way. Do you understand? Okay, that is the arguments. Why here is use 0? Because argument's gonna become a array-like object, and for each of the value put here gonna be using key 0, 1, 2, 3 for represent, and this length will represent how many values put here. If a student understand, we could talk about it later. Okay, for now you can remember it. Okay, if I have two, let me do this one. I will show you another example more here, okay? But for this one, we can continue, okay? That's a functional execution context. Next one, last one. This should be, I'll put it here, okay? This one, you do have something called outer. So what's the outer of the function? Take a look at in your source code. The function B is located where? Global, right? So your outer here will be global. Global means what? You refer to here. This outer will refer to this global, understand me? Okay, we will show another example which outer gonna be different, okay? So outer, always take a look at your source code, where it is located. Is it inside a function or is it inside a global, okay? Okay. Now we finish on the execution creation phase. We will go to execution phase. We're executing what? We're executing a function, right? So always start with the first line in your function body. The first line is this one, console log number 1. Okay, inside my lexical environment, do I have number 1? Yes. What's the value? Undefined. We'll see undefined. Okay, undefined. Okay, take a look at it here. Now I do const x equal 10. This line, right? Remove this one from TDZ and add what? Add x equals 10 in your lexical environment, okay? Then we do this line, var number 1 equals 90. And when we do that, first, do I have number 1? Yes, and then we change the value to be 90, okay? You guys saw? Now we do this line. We do this line, okay? Let's take a look at how it goes, okay? So take a look at it. I'm calling a function A. First, I have to find A, right? Now, in my lexical environment, do I have A? No. If no, what's going to do? Go to your outer. Your outer is where? Global. In global, do I have function A? Yes, I have A, and it's a function, right? So when we do the function call, the two remaining console log, we pause there. We'll come back. That's why it's called a stack. First in, last out. Okay. So we will pause on this one. Okay. We'll pause here. We will execute the function A first, because we find it in the global. Okay. Then for the function A, we will create a functional execution context. Is still from creation phase hoisting, okay? Hoisting will do exactly the same thing. Lexical environment. Lexical environment, take a look at here. Ask you the same question. Do I have any variable declared with var let const? None of them, okay? Do I have any function declaration? No. Then we will do functional. Functional, here we have what? M, okay? M, right? We will do M first, okay? M, what's the value of M? 10, okay? See here, it's a 10, okay? And we do have another one, what's the thing? Arguments. And these arguments, we are having 1, 2, 3. So gonna be 0 is 10, 1 is 90, 2 is 99, and we have a length is 3, okay? You got me? And the last one in creation phase, we are going to have what thing? Outer. Okay, here is a critical thing. Outer is inside the JavaScript, okay? Take a look at where in your source code A is located where? Function declaration A is located where? Global. I'm talking about, take a look at the source code. This is my source code, right? Is A function declaration in function B? No, it's in global. Okay, doesn't care where A is being called. Just take a look at the source code where function A is being located. It's in the global. You understand me? Don't use B, because if you use B, we're gonna have problem, okay? If you use B, later on, when we print X, right, it should be 10, but later on, we will see 20, okay? Because it's a global here, okay? Now we finish this one. Now we go to the execution phase. In the execution phase, we will execute the code, right? So the console log, okay? Do I have M? Yes, 10, right? Then do I have X? Do I have X? No. If no, I'm going to go to my outer. Okay, outer is where? Global, do I have X? 20, so I will have 20 here. You will see it's not 10 because here I have a 10 here, okay? It's not 10, it's gonna be 20 because the outer of A is not a function B, it's actually is a global, okay? So now I'm reaching the end of the function A, right? If it's reach end, what's gonna happen? Pop out from stack.
Why is M10?
Because here I pass 10 here.
So it only passes the first one?
Yeah, the remaining one, if we pass more, I don't have variable to catch it, so it's gonna be ignored. See, I pass a 10, 10 gonna be assigned to M. Do I have any other argument to accept 90 and 90? No, if no, ignored. But you can get it from arguments.
So now if when you call that function as A 10, 90, 99, what happens? So to open up all the others would only work on 10.
Yeah, I've only accepted 10. I will show you another demo later, okay? Where am I? Okay, we reached the end, right? Then we
So when we call this console.log, so it's also a function, right? So why do
because it's the built-in one. I don't draw it. It should.
it will create a
Yes.
okay.
I mentioned earlier, right? It can't create one, just we don't draw it. Okay, because it's a built-in one, we ignore it. Okay, we don't know what kind of statement in the log, so we don't draw it. Okay, we just print it, just assume it's already there. Okay. So we reach the end, right? When we reach the end, that means the function is done. Okay, when the function is done, we pop out from stack. That is called first last in, first out, right? When we pop out, here, okay. When we pop out, we finish this line, right? Then you continue on this line, okay? Continue this line, console log argument 1. Do I have argument 1? Yes, the value is 50. Did I missing something here? 10 and this one is 20, right? Because one is 10, one x is 20. Okay, I'm missing one. 50 and this one finished. And now next one, do console log x. Do I have x? Yes. Okay. What's the 10? Okay, 10. Then I reach the end of function B, right? Then you pop out. Okay, same thing. We pop out. Everything. Okay, we pop out. And now we go back to the global. Global after this B. Do I have anything more? No. If nothing more, we pop out. Then the program exit. So eventually in the browser, we will see undefined, 10, 20, 15, 10. Let's see if it's correct. Okay. Where it is? I'll put it here. I will use the node to execute it. It's gonna be a sum. Okay. Scope. Example 1. Undefined under 10, 20, 15, 10. Great. Okay. Okay.
So in this one, so A is also pointing to a function object and B is also pointing to a function object. So then why does it defined in the, I mean, even before the execution, so why does it come into that array?
Which array?
Have the lexical environment or something?
Yes.
Yeah. B, I mean, the B is getting stored in the lexical environment, but still A is also pointing to a function. even though it's a variable, it's pointing to a function, right? So then why it's not stored in the lexical environment during the creation?
Oh, yes, it's okay. Let me demo to you guys, okay? Let me have another test for you guys. Yeah. Take a look at here, guys. Do you remember when yesterday when I talk about this something? Do you remember some yesterday when I talk about declaration? We can execute, right? We'll see full, right? Now we'll still see full, right? Okay. Here is the difference, okay? Okay, so if I put it here, let's say full, right? Put it here, your arrow. That's the difference. So now let me draw and show you what's the difference, okay? You will understand, you don't worry, you will understand, okay? I will just do one here. Doesn't matter we are using var or using let or const, but the arrow gonna be different. I will show you in a minute. Let me show you this one, okay? I'll show you a difference between let and const var or the bar, okay? You should see it. You should know. When I do bar, the bar gonna be undefined. You will see undefined is not a function. See here. But if I use the let and const, you will see something not initialization or something. I see here. They do have a difference. Okay. Now, let's using var first. Okay, and we'll explain this one. And suppose I will do another full and bar here. Actually, theory I already introduced, okay, but we can go one more time. Then in the future, when you run this piece of code, you know the reason, okay? You know the reason why it works, why not it works. While using our theory part to explain, okay? Let's draw it. Okay. We will start from what's thing? Global execution context have a creation phase, okay? Creation, I don't know, Joe hoisting, it's also named hoisting. We have a lexical environment. I also didn't draw this binding, okay? Lexical environment, do I have any function declared with, do I have any function declaration? Yes, full. If full, I have put a full here, which is a function, right? Do I have any variable declared with var? Yes, what's the value? Default value? Undefined. Okay, now do I have any variable declared with let and const? No. And then we just do one thing in global, which is out is none. Okay, and now we will go to execution phase. Execution phase, right? Execution phase start with first line. Execute the function full. First, in my lexical environment, do I have full? Yes. Is it a function? Yes. Then we just execute it. I don't draw we should draw it, okay? We should draw, I just skip that part, okay? Oh, let me draw. Let me draw. Okay, we will practice, okay? We'll have what's thing? Full function execution context, right? We'll start from creation phase. You got me? Creation phase, I have lexical environment. Lexical environment. Do I have any function declaration? No. Do I have any variable? No. Okay, nothing. But we do have what's thing? Arguments, you just write a length is 0, nothing else. We don't pass anything. We do have what's thing? Outer. Outer, what's the outer for full? Global, because it's located in the global, okay? And now we go to execution phase. Execution phase, we just have full being printed, right? That's why in the console, this output here, I have a full. You got me? Then we pop out. I forgot to write the execution. Pop out. Now I will execute the second line. Second line bar. Do I have bar? Yes. And what's the value? Undefined. Can you call undefined? No. That's why you see that error. Undefined bar is not a function because you cannot call undefined in a function. You got me? So then the code is gonna exit because it will have error. Okay. Then so I'll just remove this one. Okay. I'll remove this one. Then we can continue. You're gonna understand me?
Yeah.
Okay. Remove this line. Then we'll continue, right? We execution phase continue. Continue. We go to this line. This is a function declaration. We skip, right? Skip. Okay. This one gonna do what? Change this bar to be what's then? A function. Okay. Now we will execute the function full. Same thing as before. Okay. We just skip. Okay. Then we will execute the bar. Do I have a bar? Yes. What it is? Function. So we can call it. Then we will see what's thing. Bar being printed. Got the difference? Same thing for the what's thing? Latent const. Okay. But latent const is gonna become int_dz. Okay. You will see another error. Does it answer your question? Okay. Any more question? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, that's a great question. Okay. If a function nested, okay, we'll have demo. Okay, let me go over some slides first. Okay, then I'll give a demo which have nested. Okay, don't worry. Okay. Okay, so here let's review a little bit. Okay, like we talk about it, global execution context, right? Function execution context, all the things. And this is how you draw, you know, global. And then whenever we call function, execution context is gonna be pushed here. Okay, but it is a simple version, simpler than us. Okay, and here we'll talk about creation phase. Remember, record all the variable function declaration, but not let it const. Okay, execution phase, you will do let it const. Okay. And this is like so I'm going to show you like for this function full, we're gonna have A is undefined in creation phase and B is a function. Okay, bar. Okay, this is nested. We'll go there. Okay, don't worry. Okay, and all other things we already mentioned. Okay, like a global execution context is gonna do something. Okay. Now let's go to what's the nested one. Okay, let's do this one first. Example 4.js. Okay. First, let me explain what is a nested function. A nested function is a function. A function is called nested or inner when it is created inside another function. Okay, a nested function is quite common in JavaScript. You will see many times. What's more interesting, a nested function can be returned as a property of new object, okay, or as a result itself. And for returned part, we will see in the future because it's gonna be, we will relate to closure, okay. But for today, we just have a nested function. If we have more time, we'll do it, okay. Let's finish this one and we take a break, okay. So this is our code, and you can see here, this function is inside of full, right? And we have a bar inside here, right? Let me make it more complicated for you guys, okay? I'll just do one, all others are gonna be similar, okay? Let me add one more. Let me add one more here. You got me? Add one more here. Too many layers, this one. I don't like it. Hang there a little bit. I just started. I don't want to wait you guys back. Okay. Now let's take a look at it here. I will put let's put our output here. This is our output. Okay, and I will put the remaining this part. Okay. Now let's start. First, global, right? Global execution context, creation phase, creation phase, okay, or called hoisting, okay. We'll do lexical environment, okay. Remember, ask the first question, do I have any function declaration? Yes, what it is? Foo. Don't care anything inside of foo, okay? All the things inside of foo is when you execute, you will care, and otherwise don't care, okay? We have a foo is a function here, okay? Do I have any variable declared with var? No, but we do have two variables declared with what thing? X and Y. Whenever you access something in a TDZ, you will get something. Cannot access something before initialization of the arrow. Okay. Whenever you suppose now console log X before it, you will get that cannot access X before initialization. Okay. I have X and Y, and anything else? No. Then remember we have outer. Is not right? Now we will go to execution phase. Execution phase always started with the first line. First line is let x equals 1, which is gonna have what thing? Remove this one from TDZ and add x equals 1 here. Okay. Same thing for the y. Remove from here and add y equals 9 here. That's why later on, if I add the console log x and y, you get a 1, 9. And for all the function declaration, this part, skip. Because we already done in creation phase. It's not executing, we skip. Then we do what? Execute the foo, right? Then first thing, do I have a foo? Yes. And is it a function? Yes. And if it's not a function, okay, like a 1, 2, 3, you will get foo is not a function error, okay? And it only function can execute. And when we have a function, we're going to do what? Let me make them smaller. We have too many layers here. Okay, we'll have a full function execution context. We'll do the same thing, creation phase, and we have lexical environment. Okay, now from here you only care about all the code in the function body. Outside don't care. Okay, now do I have any function declaration? Yes, what it is? Bar, okay? And don't care anything inside a bar, okay? We have a bar, which is a function. Do I have any variable declared with var? No, we do have a variable, which is called what's thing? TDZ, right? Which is y, right? Here. And then for all the function, remember, if I have arguments, you have to take care of that. Suppose mn, you have to take care, but we don't have, and then we just add what's thing? Arguments, the length is 0. Okay, when you do a for loop, you are getting nothing. Okay, and also another one, outer. Where is the bar located? Oh no, sorry. Where is the foo? Here, we are on foo. Okay, where is the foo located? Global. That's why we here I have a global here. Okay. Now we will go to creation and execution phase. Execution phase start with the first line. The first line will do what? Y equal 2. So remove this one from TDZ and add a y equals 2 here. Okay. And this part is what? Function declaration. Skip. Then we do what? Bar. Okay. Then we will do a bar here. Okay. Let me add a bar. Execution context always repeat, understand the rule. Okay, must what's the understand the rule. Don't you remember the each case? Bar inside bar, right? Inside a bar, you repeat it. Okay. Do I have any function declaration? Yes, we do have what is called a bars, which is a function, right? I do function. Do I have any variable declaration with var? No, but we do one, which is a z, right? TDZ. We have a z here, right? And we don't have anything else, but we need to take care of what? Arguments, which is length 0, and we do have what? Outer. What's outer? Foo, because the bar in the source code is inside of foo. Okay, bar is inside of foo, right? Don't take care. So here we use the foo. Okay. Okay. Now we finish the creation phase. We are going to execution phase. In the execution phase, we are going to execute the code line by line, right? So now I go to a Z3 here, right? And now we do console log Y. In my lexical environment, do I have Y? No. If I don't have, I'll go to where? Outer. Outer the full. Full, do I have Y? Yes, it's a 2. That's why it's not go to the 9, okay? Because it's outer is a full. We'll go to this one, Y, okay? Now we this part is what? Yeah, function declaration skip, right? Then we execute this line. You got me? Bus. Bus EC, okay? Execution context, creation phase. Creation phase, lexical environment, okay? Lexical environment. Now, do I have any function declaration? No. Do I have any variable? No. But we do have arguments, which length is 0, right? And we do have what thing? Outer, where is the bus located? Bar, exactly. Okay, now we finish this step, we go to execution phase. Execution phase, I want to console log Z, right? I want to console log Z. In my lexical environment, do I have Z? No, then I go to my outer. Outer is go to bar, right? Bar, do I have Z? Yes, it's 3. So I have a 3 here. Now I go to Y, okay? Y, I don't have, right? I go to my outer bar. Bar, in the bar, do I have Y? No, then I go to full. Then full, do I have Y? 2. Oh, sorry, 2, okay. Now I go to X, right? X, do I have X? No, I go to my bar, right? Do I have bar X in bar? No, I go to full, right? Full, do I have X? No, I go to global. Global, do I have X? Yes, it's 1. And then I go to last one, W, okay. Do I have W? No, I go to bar. Do I have W? No, I go to full. Do I have W? No. Global, do I have W? No. Then out is none. If no, then you have error, which is not defined. W is not defined, you know, error. And if I don't have this one, then in this case, we are going to exit, right? Because you have error. But if we don't have this line, then with no error, then all the things gonna be pop out, pop out, pop out, pop out. You got me? Okay. So let's test here in our code. Okay. Node scope 4. Apologies. We're going to have like a 2. What's that? 2, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3. Oh, I removed this one. See here, it has 1. Okay. 2, 3, 2, 1, and error, right? 2, 3, 2, 1, and have error. See, W is not defined. Okay, that's how nested one. Okay, so let's take a break and 10 minutes. We'll have 2 more demos. I will let you guys practice. Guys, can we do a exercise? If you have time, you can do this one. There's a 2 exercise actually already covered. Okay, you can try this one and also this one. Pretty simple. Okay. 24 and 25. These 2. Just draw by yourself first. Okay. 24 and 25. This one I already covered. Okay. 24 and 25. Both of them are actually covered already. Try to see by yourself. Do exercise to this. I'll give you guys 3 more minutes, okay? Do this one and this one. Two more minutes. Okay, time out. What's the value of x? 10, right? Because this one is inside. Do you want me to draw again? No, okay, fine. This one already demoed, right? Because the outer of A is gonna become B. B outer of is global, right? So this x gonna refer 20, right? Okay. I will go over a little bit more slides, okay? Which will talk about, I'm going to jump closure because closure need more explanation. Then I will do a little bit more slides on this one. And which we are related to VAR, okay? I'll explain, okay? Let's take a look at it, okay? I'll first demo you the code, then I will demo you, explain the reason, okay? Block scope. Let's see some weird part about var, var, okay? It's let me do two, because if I do one, we're going to have suppose I have this piece of code. We have to make a one to me. This one called a block. Whenever we see this thing, we call a block, right? And then this is called what's the function, right? And for in our slides, a lexical environment exists for any code block created when a code block runs and contains block variable, block local variables. This one I'm talking about only let and const is going to have a block level scope, but not for var variables. Okay, so here what's going to happen? For this piece of code, when we execute, we will say, okay, I is not greater than 8, right? So it will actually, this piece of code won't be executed, right? But we will see X and Y. And this X and J, we think they're all declared in this if condition, right? But we will get X, but we don't get a J. That's it's talking about. You will get X is undefined, but J you will get not defined. How that comes out? Let me show you, okay. This is the last difference between var and let const, okay. So what's gonna happen? We only has one scope. In this case, going to be global execution context creation phase. Here, we will have a lexical environment. I will just draw out here, okay? And we will say, do we have any more variable declaration? Do we have any function declaration? No. Do we have any variable declared with var? In this case, we should say yes, okay? What's the thing about var? var only has a function scope. What that mean? The I say var variable only has a function scope, which means only function can make a scope for var. This one I'm talking about. I will have, I'll put it, let me put it another, var scope. JS. I'm talking about is, suppose I have a function. Okay, here I define var x equals 10. Then this x is only accessible inside the function. Understand me? Let's take a look at node var scope. I will get an error, right? Because I will say x is not defined. But now, if I have if statement, okay, if let's suppose true or false, doesn't matter, okay. Var y equals 20. Now ask a question: is this a function? This is called the block scope. Block scope. What kind of statement will create a block scope? If condition, switch, for loop, while do while. When you or even this one. This is called a block scope. Var is not block scope. When we say, do I have any variable declared with var, you only care about the function. You don't care about the scope. So here, if I have a you will get it. Okay. Then I will do a full. That's the value. Oh, no. Undefined. Okay, let me show you the reason. Okay, I will use this one. Okay, same thing, right? This one, same thing, right? Okay. I remove this one. I couldn't remove. Okay. Anyway, we will go creation phase. Okay, we'll go creation phase. Okay, and let's screen, right? We don't have any function declaration, right? But we have a variable declared with x. Then you take a look at, is this x included in the function? No, if not include function, you have to put it here and give value undefined. Because only function will create a scope for var. Okay, and how about this let? No, because let, this j, right? Block, this is a block, can create a scope for the j. So we don't put a j here. We don't put a j in a TTZ. We only put what's thing. Okay. Here is my TTZ. Okay. We have put I here, and we don't care any about. We don't care any variable declared with let and const inside the block. Inside the if condition or for loop, all those. Okay, we don't care. And then we're gonna do execution. Execution. First I will do I equals 5, right? Then we will do is I greater than 8? I is not, right? So we'll skip, okay? Skip, we're gonna do console log x. What's the value of x? Undefined. So you're gonna have undefined, okay? You're gonna have undefined print. Console log j, do I have j? No, so you're gonna have j is not defined, okay? Then suppose here I change the this one. Less, okay? If I change it with less, okay? So we will start again. Yeah. We'll start again, okay? So still go to creation phase. In the creation phase, I don't have any function declaration, but I do have a var because it's not in a function. If it's in a function, we skip. If it's not a function, we have to put it here. Same for the loop, okay? Undefined. That's the last difference, the weird part about var, okay? And then we do have I here in the creation phase. We do have outer, which is not. Okay, then we go to execution phase, right? Execution phase always start with first line, I equals 5, remove from TDZ, add I equals 5 here. You got me? And then 5 is less than 8, right? And here, do I have any variable declared with let inside this block? If yes, you have to create another lexical environment. If no, then do nothing. Okay, so let me go through this one first. Okay, let me explain this. Okay, if my code is like this way, right? Inside my if condition, do I have any variable declared with let or const? No. If no, you just execute it. You don't need to create another execution context, understand me? Which means if no, then we just execute if a 5, we have 5 is less than 8. I have x, it's gonna become what's thing? 9. Then console log x, I'm gonna have 9 printed, right? Then we continue. Console log x, I have what? 9. You have 9. Then console log j, I don't have j. I have an error. Okay. So this is this case. Okay. Now I will remove it back. Okay. Move it back. What's the thing? I'll have this one, right? We still go to creation phase. Okay. I already added here. Then in this case, in this if condition, I have a variable declared with what thing? Let. When we do that, when we have any variable declared with let inside, let or const inside the block, you have to create an if execution context. Okay. Only if you have a let or const. If you don't have, skip it. Okay. Then we will go to creation phase. Other things is the same. Okay. What's the thing? Lexical environment. Okay. Here, do I have any variable declared with skip var? Okay. Skip var because var already here. Do I have any variable declared with let and let const? Yes. I have what thing? J. I don't have any function declaration, right? Skip. Okay. If you have function also skip because function you have to put a function inside the global. Okay, only for let and const take care. Then we don't have there's no, it do have outer is where global. Okay, because it's inside global, and we don't have arguments and others. We have what's thing execution. Then we have j, right? Then j is 10. Okay, and then we have this one x9, skip it because x9 is here. Oh, sorry, so no, skip. So we have x is 9, right? But x is not inside if this lexical environment. X is here, 9. Okay, because the only function we are correct scope for var. Then we console log j. Do I have j? 10. We will have 10 here. Do I have x? Because I myself don't have, right? I have global have 9. You got me? And then this if condition is done, we move it outside, pop out, okay? We pop out, right? Pop out. Then we go to the next line, which is the console log x, right? Do I have x? None. Now, do I have j? No, it's already pop out. So you're gonna have a j is not defined. Do you get it? That's the difference between j, var, and later const.
So we create the execution context only if that condition is true. So every time we see any,
we create an execution context only if here have a only if it's true and here have a let const defined variables.
so means that if inside if the condition has to be true, right? I mean,
no, if I have var x equals var j equals 90, okay? Then after the outside this one, if I type j, right, you can still get it.
yeah, that I understood.
Wait a minute for a second, okay? You got it undefined, okay?
That I understood. So my question is, let's say j is let,
then
and we create the if execution context only if the condition is true, right? I mean,
If only the condition is true, and also if you have a variable declared with a let or const.
so even if it is false,
Yeah,
even
done.
if we have let, we don't.
Yeah, because you don't have what's thing. You don't have you never get into that statement. But if I do like this way, var m equals. Okay, in this case, you want to create a lexical execution context for if condition because it's a false here, but you do have a m. Okay, that's the thing we have to, even though here is a false, okay, you need to have m because here I have m undefined. M is inside the scope of foo, it's not in the if condition. You got it? Okay, very good. The last one would be what's thing? The last one would be a for loop. If you have function, no, for okay. Normally, okay, we can do it. What's gonna happen? Print f, right? It's a false, okay. You have this let's take a look at.
It's treated as a variable, so
Yeah, it's this one I'm not aware, okay, but it okay. So here, if I have function here, it treat as a variable var. See here, undefined. But normally we don't have this case. Normally, I never see you define. You may see, but it's very rare to have a function declared in the if-else condition. Okay. I never run this case. I never tested. Originally I would think it's gonna have entire function being here. That's my original thought. Okay, but it's actually turned the same as var. Okay, that's good. That's first. Any more question on this one? If no more, I think that's the last one. Okay. You're talking about just imply the global, right? Imply the global. And don't do it. Okay. That's the last weird part about define variable. Okay. So normally when we define variable, we are using let var const, right? And this thing is called implied global. When we define, no matter we're using var or using let or using const, this I should be in the scope of function foo, right? We cannot access here, understand me? Okay, but if I remove it, I cannot use node to do it. Okay. Let me change to be HTML because node by default seems run in a strict mode. Refresh. Yeah, it's different now. It's different now. Okay. Let me see. It changed. It's been changed. Okay. Previously, we should get this thing, but now the browser changed to by default run. Do I have Mozilla Firefox? I cannot demo this one. It's not allowed. It's already been changed. Last year when I tested, still exists. Okay, but now the Chrome updated. Done. This one is called implied global, which means when we directly add a variable like this way, right? It's gonna add into global, and we previously use strict. to, you know, disable this kind of feature. But now browser doesn't allow you to do it now. By default, it's that's a good thing, okay? It's not, you cannot do it anymore because browser now is running in a strict mode, okay? Is this one you are asking? This example, you can access var. It's acting global because I don't have function there. Because I don't see here. This one, right? I mentioned that you have to read this statement. Var only function will create a scope. Okay. Var only function here in this demo. I don't have function here, so it's definitely gonna become in the global. But here, if I have var here, can I access it? No, you cannot. Why not define this var other side? Because sometimes you write a code like this way. You have if condition, you write a code like this. It's just to show you the different cases, okay? You can put it outside. Just that sometimes you write a code in the if condition. I tell you this is gonna be, if you write a code var in the if condition, it's gonna be in the function scope. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, because some students write. Yeah, that's the thing. We have letter and const, right? Okay, that's the thing. We have letter const, okay, which are in year 6. And before that, when we have var, that's the weird part. You have to be aware if you have if condition, that is inside the function scope, okay. And same thing for the for loop, okay. Suppose I have for loop here. Imply the global. Let's ignore it. Okay, it's not supported anymore. That's the good part. Okay, so if we have an if condition, for loop, I already demoed to you guys. Inside the loop. This is the last one. Then we go back home. Okay. Okay, because they are connected. When I do like this way, when we execute, we'll have what's then? We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Then we'll have I is not defined because whenever we use let or don't use const in this case, okay? Let or const variables, every brace will create a scope for them. Every brace pair will create a scope. But if I use var here, only function will create a scope for var. You will see 5 here. Got me? Okay. And now one more. Let me show you one more. You see similar thing in Java, right? Which is like a static, static instance. When I do, you're gonna have error. You have I is not defined because this is gonna create a scope for this I. Okay, but if I change to be var, it will have 10 because var only function will create a scope. Okay, only function. You have to take a look at the closest function of the var variables. That's gonna become its scope.
What do you mean by creating this scope?
Scope. This one. Scope talking about this I. How? You can think as what's thing? From where to where we can access this I? From where to where? From suppose this is a function, this function. From which from where to where we can access the x. So inside this function, this is starting point, this is the end point. Between this starting and end, we can always access this x. Okay, and if here I'm true, from where to where or scope, we can access this j, which means from this breast to this breast, we can access j. But outside this breast and outside this breast, we cannot access j. Yes, this one is talking about, take a look at here. Function will create a scope for the var. Here, take a look at here. Is this a function? No, okay? It's this, no function, right? If not a function, that means this I gonna be exposed outside this brace. Then from where to where I can say anywhere in this page, global. But if I do like this way, okay, if I do like this way, now this I is inside function, right? So from where from where to where I can access I? Only within a function. Outside this function, I cannot access I. My English is not okay, fine. Okay. Any more question? Okay, now.
Yeah, I mean you use the outer is not, but in the example before was the outer we use global outer, right?
This outer is global.
Yeah, on the diagram, I mean the environment.
I already missed it. I talking about this one. I talking about this one.
Write it. I mean, in the diagram you write it. The outer is not, right?
This outer is global.
No, that down.
Yes, this outer is not.
So if does not create a scope.
No, this one means it's parent. Global's parent. Outer refer to your parent. Global don't have any parent because global is the last one. It's like in Java inheritance, object's parent is none, right? You don't have any more. Okay, you got it? This one is don't have any more. If I want to, suppose I want to find some variable, I don't have in function, I will probably go to global, right? If I don't have global, you will have error thrown, which is at the end. Okay, that's it for today's lecture. And for summarize, when we go there, we'll take a look at it. Today you have some exercise. First one is a homework. We'll have more difficult one next Monday, which is a closure. Okay. To understand closure, you must understand today's lecture. If you don't understand, then you cannot understand closure in JavaScript. Right. So make sure you practice. Here, this I haven't decided. Okay. Either definitely you're gonna have one question from either this case. I'll give you a piece of code. You give me, I would put it in the console. Okay, got me? This one, and this is another. This one you cannot do it. This one you have to wait for the timer. Oh, you two can do it. They have already learned. Okay, okay. And there's another type of question, which is you go to the test and quizzes, which is this one. Which I give you a piece of code, you give me the lexical environment, the object, okay? If you do and click submit, okay, you will see my answer. Okay, if you don't do, you're gonna see it. If you do it and click submit for grading, and you will see my model answer for this one, okay? And basically, we will go through the solutions next week, okay? So in the exam, either this type of question or either this type of question. I haven't decided. Okay, so you have to understand both of them. Okay. Okay, let's do meditation at home. So see you next Monday.